to PrepperNow. Hopefully you were able to get on over to the crisis report. We're just doing things. And now here we are over here for a little bit more of analysis of what's going on. Basically, the Middle East is just waiting for some form of a response from Iran. Israel is getting their population ready for it. Some people in the Israeli government is saying, you know, we need to take preemptive strikes against them. And that's basically where we are. So, Middle East is going to Middle East. And it could be a pretty nasty fight and attack. We have talked about that over the last couple nights in a holding pattern. You'll notice I didn't turn the camera on and start freaking out after 60 rockets were chucked from Hezbollah, because that's friggin' Saturday night for them, you know? You guys go out and tip back your whiskey, they go and they shoot rockets into Israel. So that's what goes on there. And what goes on here, of course, is talking about the news, talking about what's going on. So you might want to spread to your Prepper channel friends and other channels you like to talk about that they're not going to be allowed to do politics anymore, because evidently the platform is going to listen to foreign governments, and there's going to be, you know, a little bit of the sense, or maybe a ship, and yeah, they're going to do whatever they can to basically stop you from knowing what's going on. So if that happens, there's other places to go, and I'm sure people will act accordingly. I mean, every time it's you know, it's the old Star Wars Tarkin quote from Leia. The more you tighten your grip, Tarkin, the more star systems slip through your fingers. Kevin Grip, thank you very much. Thank you very much, bud. Remember when Star Wars didn't suck? And it wasn't like, hey, let's just... Anyway, I'm not going to get on that. Let's talk about this right here. This is major stuff going on in the United Kingdom. I covered a lot of it over the crisis report, but, you know, there are people checking your skin color if you're entering into or leaving certain neighborhoods. So, I mean, it is bad. It is bad. So, of course, the government and the BBC, you know, crappy that they are, they're out there saying it's those pesky right-wingers. Meanwhile, as the protests spread, let us be reminded of these children right here. There were 3 of them that were dispatched a few days ago by a 17-year-old new neighbor. I think his parents had come over, and then he was the benefactor of such. And then, of course, other things have happened. This is obviously all of the different people that have been attacked and hurt. Numerous things have happened. I think I remember this one over here. That was at school. I think there's a school that got a big knifing the other day. So, you know, this is happening a lot over there, and it's really aggravating them for obvious reasons. Irish are popping off as well. You remember what was going on? I can't remember it, and I'm sure my homeboy Sean will remind me on Telegram. Ireland has been really getting angry at all this. And what they're doing is basically burning down and you know, attacking some of these places that are of the welcoming committee. There was a Holiday Inn that was burnt down. There was a kiosk that was like a do you want to convert to Islam thing? You know, I mean, they have taken over entire neighborhoods, and they're doing their thing. You know, it's what they do. So anybody, you know, in the government thinking they're going to come up here and become merry old Brits is just absolutely incorrect. So, the Brits are angry, and the Saxon is beginning to hate. So, if you're not caught up with the news cycle, new neighbor demonstrations have erupted across the United Kingdom following the horrific stabbing of 3 children by a 17-year-old son of a Rwandan immigrants. Now there are riots, effectively. You can call them protests. They started, now they're riots in Liverpool, Bristol, Manchester, Hull, Belfast, Stoke, and other cities. Some turned violent while others did not. And a lot of people are coming out, and of course, the more this gets the fanfare, the more people come out to see what the heck's going on and to join in. There's a lot of pent-up frustration. Guardian quoted protesters on Saturday as chanting, "Get them out," in Yorkshire. Southwest city of Bristol, they're shouting, "We want our country back," and they do. You know, England till I die. So, you know, they've taken numerous people from other countries, and I'm sure that the intentions were, you know, by some people, not all, to be good. You know, get them new places to live and all that, and it's not working. It's a clash of culture. It is what it is, and they're not assimilating, and now there's a lot of violence going on, and the natives are pushing back. They're really unhappy with all this. So it seems working class people in the West are beginning to speak up. After all, Christianity did play a major role in the development of Western civilization. So what are some things going on? Recanting what the Crisis Report had, youtube.com/@Crisis Report. Well, it had the report that the Starmer government, Starmergeddon himself, is sending basically security details to mosques, but he's not protecting temples or he's not protecting churches. So probably by tomorrow we'll hear of some terrible event happening to churches and stuff. Tommy Robinson, he's like the anti-immigration guy. He was arrested. Well, he supposedly fled. He's supposedly taken off and is now in Cyprus or somewhere else. He hit his bail and he was arrested for being at these protests. And two other guys were stabbed. The three girls were dispatched. Others were stabbed. Numerous girls, you know, at a camp or something. I think it was it was a Taylor Swift dance thing. I mean, it's just mayhem. It's awful. So they've gone too far. I think they've put too many people in, and you know, a lot of these people are not of good nature, and a lot of them are, you know, I mean, they have chants all the time saying we want Britain to basically be under Sharia law. You know, I mean, it is what it is. So, not assimilating, not getting into the whole Britain thing, and now there's a lot of violence going on all sides. Keir Starmer told the nation the government will do whatever it takes to quell the violence, and by that, basically, there's Antifa thugs running rampant. There's this other thing called the Muslim Defense League. They're running rampant. There's a bunch of them. I mean, all people. I mean, don't worry. Both sides have weapons. So, you know, there's going to be a battle in the streets as we're seeing through all of this. I'm not going to play the video. But as you can see, just from the still capture of here, it's total madness, as it says right here. So this is what one person, Ashley St. Clair, said. The effects of mass migration and open borders is what's going on. Now, I did a report on Crisis Report about two guys in May that were Jordanian. And these guys took a VBIED, which is a vehicle-borne or vehicle-based improvised explosive device, okay, also known as a car bomb or a bomb on wheels. And they crashed the gate at Quantico. And they went in, and they say this was a test run. And they took it in, see how far they could get in, to possibly blow crap up, right? Well, they're both out on bail. One had a $15,000 bail, the other one had a $10,000 bail. They're both on bail, out, free. You You know how they got here? One person overstayed their visa and the other person came up from the south. New neighbor. And they're free. And they're trying to attack our forces. So as Elon says here, he thinks civil war is inevitable. So as the analysis says here, it says the assumption might be not too far off. Far-left EU elites who have pushed for years for open borders and other stuff in the bloc. There's now hundreds of thousands, I'd say millions of new neighbors that are intentionally or unintentionally stoking incredible high divisions in the population. And this is what we call Marxist conflict theory. What is Marxism? Well, as put on to my subscribe star on Locals, a quote from him basically saying that he hated God and he is in it to win it for Satan. It is basically Satanism in political and economic form. All the rich people have everything. They're a very small percentage, and then you and me and the other pissants get nothing, and we'll like it. We'll own nothing and like it, as one famous person said. So these open borders are having a lot of problems. And the UK is showing it. There was a lot of same thing going on in Israel a couple weeks, or not Israel, excuse me, Ireland a couple weeks ago. So the leftists own the corporate media, which is why they're basically lying to your face and why people are coming to other news channels to figure out what's going on because they know they're getting gaslit, especially when, like, the BBC had a lady out there tonight who's sitting there talking about far right extremism and how the peaceful, loving Muslim neighbors that are there, literally a gang of them, were coming behind her with like machetes and stuff and baseball bats. So, yeah, pushing that X has been an epicenter for fueling misinformation, disinformation. YouTube is now under pressure, and they're supposedly going to succumb to take away anybody talking about politics, which I can't see them being able to do that completely. They'll probably just pick and choose. They'll probably take a couple of big fish out to send a message to everybody else. But, they're going to go after all the places that are not of a corporate media mindset and are not sitting there telling you about how awesome your lives are. So you'll see. It says, mark my words, Britain's leftist government will use the outbreak of violence to launch a crackdown on free speech, specifically against Elon Musk's X platform. So it seems that the really awesome government in the UK is just having a wonderful kickoff. Everything is going great. And they will. I mean, that's, this is the oldest playbook in the world, folks. Hegelian dialectic, as they say. So the problem is erupting, and the solution will be bestowed upon all of us, okay, in the form of you're not going to be able to see what you want to see. Yeah. So an activist named Martin Sellner gave a lecture yesterday on sense, or, the big old ship, and then the police showed up and shut it down. So, this is the way it is, and it's coming. Free societies don't censor, okay? They don't. So slow motion crisis undoubtedly gained momentum, and social unrest is igniting. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think these people are going to go away? Do you think they're just going to be like, oh, well, you go, okay, fine. I'll shut up. I'm sorry. Go ahead. My 14-year-old daughter, you just do whatever you want to her. No, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. There's already a crew of people there called Blade Runners. Have you heard about these people? Let me enlighten you. They're called Blade Runners, and they've got things that can cut metal, saws. And they're going up to all of the just big brother tech that is all over the, British Isles now. And they're all clad in gear where you can't see who they are, and because of the facial recognition and all that. And they go up there and they saw down all of these cameras and stuff. They're called Blade Runners. They're growing. It's getting more and more. So conflict is broadening. I mean, Elon Musk is saying CW is coming. This guy is trying to speak. This is going to happen. They're going to do everything they can. But again, I remind them that the more they tighten their grip, the more star systems are going to slip through their fingers. They can't stop it all. Here's an idea. Check this out. I've got an idea. Why don't they stop? If this is aggravating everybody, why don't they stop the actions that are making everybody aggravated? That's what they used to do. Oh, this is making it bad for my contingents, or my people, my voters. Maybe I'm not going to get voted for if I keep doing this. But I guess it doesn't matter in the UK. I mean, look at what's his name? I mean, everybody doesn't even know his name anymore. Rishi Sunak. That was a kick-ass little tenure from him. Now you got Starmageddon going on, and UK is up in flames. And why is that? It's because a bunch of rich bastards in the background want conflict. They want them fighting. George Soros wants, to buy things for pennies on the dollar. Okay, so you can put 2 and 2 together. If he's got a lot of governmental agencies. I'm not saying him directly, but I think we're all smart enough to know what's really going on. So, as the mayhem in the Middle East is going on, the mayhem in the British Isles is going on, now you've got Japanic Monday, as the Zero Hedgies are very affectionately putting out there. What is that? Well, as it reported on Crisis Report, the markets are absolutely crapping the bed. Bitcoin has gone below $59,000, which... how it got to there in the first place, I don't know. If you own it, congratulations. The market is down. I think they're down 3% right now. So there's the chart. Not doing too hot. BOJ has basically been playing urinate all over the money. And, they're printing it, and that's why your bread is expensive. Everything is expensive. That's why we make all our own loaves of bread now. We literally don't buy bread because it's too. I mean, this bread used to be like $1. Now it's like $4 or $5. What was I was looking at? I was looking. Kids wanted a drink tonight, right? I go in there and I was looking. You remember the tall Starbucks kind of energy drink things? I remember those things were $2.79. They're $4.79 now. I took them over the fountains and said, "Get yourself a 99 center." I'm not buying that. So, and that was a reward because I was making a video on my backup channel, my super secret one. And BOJ, which was noted last week, changed the rules again, unleashed a financial apocalypse by creating a positive feedback loop, culminating with deflationary collapse of all assets. Bank now goal seeks a surge in the end. So basically, the 10-year bonds are down by 10% today. The stock market is down 3%. And the entire shebang has lost 20% since July. And they're entering into bear market. That's what we call a crash. That is a legit crash. 20% in a month is a crash. So, suffered its biggest 2-day drop in history. The numbers are worse than they've ever been before. So, what do you think is going to happen tomorrow morning in the good old American states? What do you think the futures are doing right now? What do you think gold's doing right now? I can assure you that all of these asset classes are really, I think gold will keep going up, and then it'll take a little bit of a hit when a major crisis does happen. At that point, you should probably do things. I'm not going to tell you to buy, but you do you. I'm not a financial analyst, but those who've been following me around have made some wise decisions in my life. So other things are going to crash. The stock market is they're doing everything they can. So As stated last night on this channel, which, by the way, please hit the like button if you're new here, and you're probably not. I'm getting totally hammered by the algorithm. They're not notifying, they're not showing. You can't even search my name and find me, okay? So clearly I'm doing good work. So if you could hit the like button and all that, and subscribe and leave a comment, that'd be great. All this is going to come crashing down. I said it last night on PrepperNow, here. The markets are, if a war goes off, if Iran starts chucking missiles from all over, from the 7 different fronts that surround Israel, if the UK keeps popping off the way it is, if Venezuela starts to have conflicts in South America and the way it is, Mali cut off its contact with Ukraine today, all kinds of crap going on in northern Africa and the Sahel. I mean, it's everywhere, folks. It literally is everywhere. Russia is chewing up ground in Ukraine, and now a lot of people in the West are saying, you guys need to come to the negotiating table and GTFO, because you're gonna lose everything. But they got F-16 today, so party on, keep warring away, folks. All this stuff is I mean, the markets are what's going to affect all of us over here. The unemployment is what's going to affect us over here. I don't, unless things go just full on WW3 on every continent, and I don't see that happening for a while. What's going to affect us over here is going to be the finances. It's going to be the money. It's going to be all that kind of stuff. And, Asia trades before, the West, before Europe, and then America. And these are huge declines. Collapsing 15% in a week, the BOJ meeting. That's a disaster. Largest 2-day drop in history. That's a disaster. Circuit breaker triggered for topics. That's a disaster. So what do we got? Let's go through it. Oh, hold on. It's in a bear market. Topics falls 20% from July peak. Entire Japanese bond market is just crap in the bed right now. Circuit breaker triggered for Japan government bond futures. NASDAQ 100 futures drop as much as 2%. Perhaps something more troubling is that Japan's mega banks are in free fall, starting with Mizuho, which is one of their biggest. Mizuho shares fallen as much as 12% since March 2020. Most since March 2020. So 12% as of recently, and that's the most since March of 2020. What happened in March 2020? Rona. JP Morgan. Let's see. Anyone Japan's largest bank, it's JP Morgan, if you will. So yeah, JP Morgan's tied to them. MUFG shares have fallen as much as 21%. Record intraday decline. Korea is evidently getting swept as well. Kospi index slumping, taking losses from July peaks to 10%. NASDAQ 100 futures are down 2%. Let's see if there's more. Yep, that's everything. That is that's kind of the beginning of a crash, folks. That's a little bit more. When you get into the 10 to 20%, I think I said it here a few days ago. I said, it's one thing to go like 2 to 4 or 5%. Anything above 5 to 10% is like, that's crash territory, and we're in the 10%ers now. Things are going down by 20% in a matter of a couple weeks. So more pain is coming. It'll start in Japan. It'll stretch over. China is in freaking crap too. Country Garden, Evergrande, all those big real estate houses. While the Chinese do their money, they do it by investing into real estate. The real estate goes in. They create apartments. People buy them. They get a dividend off of the owning the company that owns all the real estate. It's kind of like a little strange way of doing the stock market, but the way they like it over in Asia is they like things of a physical nature. They like to hold things in their hand, like, say, gold, or see an apartment complex and say, that's mine. Not like over here where we trade gold and paper and, like, silver contracts, whatever the heck they're called. So, they do it over there, but they also do physical stuff. So, I mean, let's go back to the whole thing in the Middle East, okay? Right now, Bloomberg says it's going to happen tonight. Blinken says it's going to happen in the next 12 to 24 hours. Other channels have said that the 8th and the 9th of August are this, like, kind of religious thing that might be a marker. But the fact is that at some point in the next 72, to 144 hours, something nasty is going to happen in the Middle East. At that point, where the markets go, I don't know. I'd say that oil is going to crash, but or go way up, but it's been kind of crashing because of all of the financial crap. But if the oil futures start going up and get into like the 90s to $100 a barrel range, that's going to further put pressure. The world is in a very dire straits kind of position, folks. I mean, there's just crap everywhere. And I think it's on purpose, to be honest with you. I think the people in the background that are pushing and forming the maneuvers and the trajectories, they're doing things on purpose this way because I think they just want the whole thing to crap the bed and crumble. And at that point, they can come in and buy things for pennies on the dollar. It's the oldest trick in history, and it's happened for many decades. Just ask Mr. Giorgio Schwartz on what he did with the British pound back in the 80s, or 90s, whatever it was. They go in, they kick everything in the nuts, they cause all this mayhem. The financial rot starts to happen, and the craziness goes on, and then everything craps the bed, and they come in and they buy it for nothing. I mean, we covered last night what Buffett's doing. What's Buffett doing? He's taking all his money out. He sold half his Apple shares. Billions of dollars, or hundreds of millions, I forget, but a lot. More money than you and I'll ever know. And he parked it on the sideline. Why? Because he knows. Everybody knows. Everybody knows this whole thing is about to crap the bed. So, in Joe and Kamala, God bless them, they're not going to be able to do anything to stop it. And all of this is going to lead to, more inflation, everything else. The Federal Reserve has done a great job of urinating all over our currency. And now, inflation is going gangbusters. And now you're going to get a crash and then probably deflation. Then all these buttheads that went out and thought it was a great idea to buy a 25% overpriced used vehicle and have a $721 car note a month, they're about to lose their jobs. Where do you think things go from there? It sucks. It's like you see it. My mom used to say that it's about me. And it's because I was a butthead in high school. I did a lot of dumb stuff. And I got in trouble, Learned. I've fixed myself since, but she'd see me make these mistakes. She said, it's like watching you going down the street and the speed limit's 35 miles an hour and you're going 70. And there's a cop just around the corner waiting to just hammer the whole thing home. That's kind of where I think we are right now. Everything is just careening out of control, and there's a big friggin' brick wall at the end of it, and it's just going to slam right into it headlong. And the whole thing is just going to go up in smoke, up in flames. And a lot of good people are going to get hurt because they've been sitting here listening to this wonderful media of ours tell us how wonderful everything is. Oh, everything is just so wonderful. Go out and get a car, folks. This is a sign of a good economy to have our rates at these levels. The inflation and all that, it'll go away. Everything's fine. It's all great. Go out, buy a car, buy a truck, buy 2 trucks. Get a new house. It's only average price is $460-some thousand. That's totally normal, right? No, it's not totally normal. Major problems going on. So, and no person you vote for is going to fix it. I hate to break that to you. I don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Orange Man Bad will fix it. Maybe Kamala will fix it. I hope they do. Either one of them gets in. I pray for them fully to do everything in their power to get things back on track. But I don't think they will. You know, I mean, a lot of the duress and problems that are happening right now are because of what happened in 2008. You know, we never fixed anything. Didn't fix anything. Same crap, same stupid things, and now it's all coming home to roost. So we'll see. Got a big old election coming up, and you know, everybody's gonna do everything they can to gloss over all this crap and keep the you know, best looking horse in the glue factory still running until until they can't, until the thing just craps out on the bed or on the racetrack. Yeah, I mean, this whole thing right here, you know, look at this. You know, war is one thing. What would happen if it was a CW? Seriously. Like at that point, yeah, you're talking about, and I'm not talking just anywhere. I'm not talking America. I'm just talking anywhere, like in the West. Happens in America, you're going to see our dollar not be the reserve currency anymore. Because you mark my words, China will come out and say, oh, well, you can't trust them. You know, come on over to the yuan. Saudi Arabia doesn't trust them anymore. As of June 9th, they said, nope, no more. Come on over to the yuan, folks. Russia trusts us. We have lots of energy. You know, more than 50% of the entire world functions like we do. Come on over. And then America, all those foreign reserves, and by the way, the foreign exchange and reserves and the foreign instruments of finance are how the government in Japan is still functioning. They're not making money off their bonds. Their bonds yield too little. I read a great story on this today. They're making money on other instruments of financial status from other countries. That's the only way they're able to stay afloat. But yeah, if something happens over here, you know, and the dollar goes away, at that point, all this foreign exchange, because they have to hold foreign exchange, they have to hold like the dollar, so they can purchase things like gasoline and oil. Well, they say, oh, well, we don't need that anymore. That's you know, that's old news. We don't need the dollar anymore. So we'll send them home, and we'll cash them in, and then all those dollars come crashing home. And what happens then? That's called hyperinflation. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen. It would take a lot of very bad events that would go in a very nasty way to affect it, to have it happen that way. But is it possible? Absolutely. There's a reason why major film companies are creating wars on a hypothetical civil war here in America. What I saw today in the UK was basically akin to a race war. Can you imagine? That's terrible on so many different levels. One guy was comparing it to Beirut in the 1970s and 80s. He said, you know, if you were going into neighborhoods in Beirut, in Lebanon, and you had to show your arm, you had to show what skin color you were, or some affiliation to, like, you know, the mosque or something like that, or other neighborhoods, you know, if you show that you were a Catholic, you know, like that's the kind of stuff. So think about all this. You know, there are esteemed leaders going in and saying we're going to flood the country with all these new neighbors, and now over the course of about 5 to 10 years, so many of them come in. They've allowed so many of them in that it's oil and water. You know. And I don't think it's happening because people want it to not work. I think everybody wants it to work. But it was pretty much inevitable not to work. The way some of our new neighbors come in and the way they think of society is diametrically opposed to the way the West is founded. Whole things on religious freedom and all that, that's not, no. Go look up the term jizya, Jizya, okay? Things like that. That's not, you know, I've got Muslim friends, and this is not an indictment on any religion. But culture matters, and all of these cultures are not working together. That's a fact. It's showing right now. It's on your screen as we speak. And that's going to break down. And as that breaks down, other things are going to break down. You add in the war in the Middle East, and that's, again, another two different religions. There's a cultural difference there. The way the Israelis uphold themselves compared to the way the Iranians uphold themselves. Very different from each other. It's not going to work. Conflict is going to happen. And then all of this monetary crap in the background that's already teetering on the brink. All of it. If that gets a nice swift kick in the nuts, whole thing's going to go. So, all right, friends, we're going to call it there right now. Please hit the like button and subscribe. Again, they're you know, darking out the bell. I'm really getting hammered here by you know, Algoicious. So, if you could, yeah, it really helps. I know it's like people, it does seem stupid, but please, you know, just do what you can to hit the buttons, leave a comment. By the way, I have a super secret channel. I'm going to tell you now because I bet all the buttheads are gone. It is youtube.com/@globalintelchannel, all one word. Go over there and subscribe, please. That's my backup to the backup. It's not tied to anything here. Okay? Please. I'm not going to put the link in there. I'm not. Oh, the SUBSTACK. Let's see. Hold on. Oh, I got to read those back. I'm not, let me see that real quick. Hold on. Can you please I will talk to Eric Hell in the background. Okay. I email him from time to time. I've been considering getting him back. Look, I got no hard feelings against Eric Hell whatsoever. The problem was there were some times he was twisting it up with other people, you know. I have no problems with him. But when you come in here and it's getting into it with other people in the chat, then I can't have that. So I will email him in the background and get his solemn square, and I'll read back on the other person. I got no problem with anybody, but if we're going to be here, we got to be on the rules, okay? All right. All right, friends, please, you know what to do. On that note, God bless. We will see you on the next one. Hit the buttons and stuff. Go to the super secret. And we'll see you on PrepperNow out.